Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome once again to Live Visuals with IyanuWole.
And once again, we have with us the amazing Mr. Praiseful.
I'm excited to be here again, guys. I'm excited. I hope you have subscribed. Please press the subscribe button.
Yes, so
Thank you, sir.
So, you want to continue watching this video without subscribing? You'll be sneaking in and sneaking out. No comments, no like, no share, no subscribe. You no turn on notification bell.
As in, who does that?
Who does that?
It's totally unfair. It's unfair. It's unfair to IyanuWole.
It's not even to your own benefits, because if we drop a video that will bless your life, you can miss it.
You will not know.
You will not know. For you to get notification, click the subscribe button.
So what we are going to do now, we are just going to wait 10 seconds, baby.
Thank you.
For those who have subscribed, we want to celebrate. Let's clap for them. Thank you. Welcome on board.
Welcome to Team IyanuWole.
Alright, so let's continue enjoying that video right now. So today we're going to be talking about a topical issue. It has to do with abuse, child molestation, and what have you. So there is this series by PVO, The Games, and in that movie, Miracle, if you've not seen that movie, by the way, please see that movie. So Miracle was actually molested, abused by the family doctor, and right now Miracle is in the university, and the Miracle's definition for love right now is just sex, because that's the way he has been taught by that family doctor. And she has not been able to disclose to her parents till now, and I guess it's a very, very deep issue.
Yeah.
People find it difficult to, maybe because of our environment, they don't talk about it.
Yeah, and I think also because of the way the victim is maybe shamed when they come out.
Yeah.
So people tend to just keep quiet and not talk about it.
So yeah, that is why we are here today. So you're welcome once again, sir.
It's my pleasure.
So I guess the first question is, how can we as parents actually avoid this? I mean, it's something you heard about, something that just happened about a particular Nigeria actor. Exactly. Had that similar issue. How can we as parents, avoid this?
And most times these molesters are someone close.
Yeah, they're family members. I always, because I was molested at 4, so
Wow.
I have this some experience of how this works. I always say to parents that the strength of the predator is the ignorance of your child. The predator knows you're not going to take your child's sexuality education. The predator knows how to come in. So for example, if you are mean to your child, the predator is the opposite of you. He offers love. So you beat your child, the predator is his family member. You say, don't beat the child, so it provides a refuge city, a succor,
Wow.
So you are shouting on your child, you are a very useless child. The predator is the one who says, don't worry, everything is going to be alright. Don't mind your parents, that is just upset. You are a very fantastic child. So with time, the child begins to feel, what can I give to retain this predator? And the predator knows. So when the predator begins to make a demand, to say, but uncle has been nice to you, so can I touch you here? Alright, the child will feel awkward, but because this is the person that has demonstrated love to the child begins to give in to those kind of things. So I always tell the parents that there must be no other person who gives love to your child more than you. And number 2, you need to empower your child against the predator, because once you have empowered a child against the predator, it becomes very difficult for the predator to molest a child, because then your child now knows that what the definition of predator is, which is, we've defined the predator as anyone or any system that teaches you secrecy or gives you anything and tells you shouldn't tell your parents. Because predators don't just go straight and ask for sex. Predators first teach a child secrecy before they make demands on the child's sexuality. So once you have described who a predator is to a child, and you put them at alert to say it can be family members, it can even be me, it can be whatever, then the child is able to report. And you tell the child the lies of the predator. The predator will say, Daddy will die, Mommy will die. It's a lie.
Even say you will die.
Yeah, it's a lie. Nobody's going to die. Make sure you report. So basically, empowering a child against the predator is actually the way to do it.
Okay, I guess one of the problems we have is actually sexual education.
Yes.
Some parents find it difficult to discuss the topic of sex to their children.
Yes.
So how do we teach sexual education to children? At what age do you think
we start teaching sexual education?
Ideal for us to teach?
Interestingly, I created the most complete sexual education kit many years ago in Nigeria. I was burdened by the problem, so I had to even get into it. I wrote an entire album full of sexuality education songs that parents can use to teach their children. It's still available. He has videos, he has audios, he has all kinds of things. Then later we created Child Power, which is week by week. That's audio. What to teach a child about sex. But for basic sexual education is what to teach about sex from 18 months to 18 years. Because
18 months.
Yeah. So once a child can talk, you teach a child what we call My Body and High. 18 months to 3 years, you teach My Body and High. You use songs and games and stories. Because attention span of a child is very low at that age. So things like My Body is my friend, and is the house that I live. It has two different parts called private and public. I will do just everything to protect my body because I love my body and my body loves me. Then you go ahead and teach your child the difference between public parts and private part. I have my hair is my public part. I have my eyes, I use it to see. My nose, my legs, and my hands, mouth, and hair. They all make up my public part. Then my laps and lips are my private part. My breast and bum are my private part. Vagina for girls and the penis for boys. They all make up my private part. Then you teach, what do you do to your private part? What do you do to your private part? I will put this and cover private part. It belongs to me. I must be secured. I will tell my daddy, if you try to touch, what do you do to your private part? I will put this and cover private part. Right? So you teach that.
We can get all these songs again.
It's available on my website. You can
we actually get it.
So it's an entire, so what you teach January to December of every year. From those ages is there. Downloadables. Now when you're done with that, you move to ages 4 to 6. At that age, you begin to teach a child the 4 golden rules of the body. Rule number 1, my body belongs to me and also belongs to God. Rule 2, I must report to my dad and mommy whatever happens to me. Rule 3, I have a right to say no to whatever I feel is wrong. Rule 4, anybody that says I should not talk wants to destroy my future. Bad movies, bad picture, bad song, bad friends, there's fire on the mountain. So run and run and run away, there's fire on the mountain. So you teach that at that age, because children never forget what you teach through songs and play. Now, so at that age is when you now also begin to tell them who a predator is and the lies of the predator. Now from age 7 to 9, you teach awareness and I. At that age, you begin to teach your child what we call world changers. It's also a song, and a part of them is a version of my mother told me that I would be, but so you do your hands like that, but what you're saying, world changers, do not lie, they tell the truth and not working. They rise from failure to bringing in the world. I am a world changer, I am the best I cannot fail. I have God's power in me to change my world. I am a world changer, just look at me and see. I will do all I can to lead my nation. Then you now begin to teach them, young people change the world. So begin to inspire them to say, don't allow predator to touch you, because so that you can change the world. Right? Then you teach them the lies of the predator. You teach them the predator was daddy will die, mommy will die, how to identify a predator, then all nice sounds, and how to identify them. Now, from ages at the preteen age, which is 9 to 12, you teach what we call life is good. At that age is when you now teach puberty. You teach self-esteem. You teach sex myths and lies. Because at that age where they have all kinds of myths, accumulation of sperm can cause backache. Say laziness and lack of exercise is what is responsible for that and all those kind of things. Right? So then if you progress into the teenage years, you now begin to take what we call undressing sex. That's where we define sex in a way that governs human behavior. We define semen, we define vagina, we define private part, we define public part, and all kinds of things. So once you have taught your child all these things, it becomes very easy for your child to spot the predator and to report the predator, because your child knows the damage that the predator can do. So it is the responsibility of parents to teach age-appropriate sexuality education. Right? Once you do it at those ages, I have lost count of testimonies from parents of how their children busted predators simply by teaching them age appropriate sexuality education. So I always tell parents that, see, your job is to teach your child, right? Because predators are no longer, now we define predators, we define sexual abuse as that sexual abuse is when the vulnerability of a minor is taken advantage of by a major or by a fellow minor for sexual satisfaction, because now statistics shows us that more children now molest children.
Wow, really?
That's what data now shows.
Wow.
So more children now molest children.
Where are you getting that from?
Yeah, because so you have a child who was molested by an adult. The child comes to school, he's in the school bus, he's touching other children. Yeah. Like those ones are touching themselves. A child is saying pornography, and he's saying I saw something called porn, and they go to their tabs and begin to search for porn. That's how this thing spread. It's like, it's like a culture in a lot of schools, primary, secondary, right now is an epidemic, and it's because parents are very careless with many things, so what we can do, because you're not going to be around your child all the time, but you can empower your child against the predator. That's why you will know the truth will set you free. Once you teach your child the right thing, it becomes almost impossible for the predator to molest a child.
Wow, I guess this is actually one of the things that my dad does as well. He has gone to so many schools to teach about sexual education, and it's just amazing what these children will say. Some of them will tell you that they've been involved in all of these sexual things right from very young age.
I know schools where an entire class is masturbating. I know schools where an entire class, right, everybody's sucking everybody's breast.
Jesus.
In a school. Now I know a school where the children, because when they want to have sex with themselves, they go to physics lab, and the CCTV, they manipulate the CCTV, and by themselves conditioning that CCTV is saying, you can't sit down, so it doesn't even know go into physics lab, and by the time they are done, they manipulate it back to what the school wants it to be, and everybody's doing everybody, and nobody knows, and they have agreement with themselves that nobody should talk to their parents, so it's what we are dealing with, and we have not even started talking about for Karama, which is same sex in a lot of boarding houses.
I guess most parents are not even aware that these children know more than
they are not aware. During lockdown, I noticed a trend among teenagers. They were playing a game called Truth or Dare. So if you were awake around 1 a.m. to 3:30 a.m., you would just, and if you have some of them who will talk to you, you just see a penis on their DP, or you can see some picture of vagina on their DP. But by 4 a.m., it has changed to Bible. So they are daring themselves. I began to ask what's going on. So they confided in me that that's when they play Truth or Dare. So a guy can dare you that I dare you to put your penis up. So he put his penis. So I said, why did he change the Bible? He said that's when their parents wake up to pray. So I began to ask, how do you give your child a mobile phone, and you don't have a rule that says drop your mobile phone
this time to this time,
pick it up tomorrow morning? So apparently these children don't sleep.
Okay, so let's go back to the issue of abuse right now. So what can parents do? First, some parents are not even aware. What strategies can they deploy or employ to be sure that their children are not entangled with this issue? Some parents are not even aware, but they want to find out from their children. But I feel that they have to do that systematically.
You can't even find out from your children if you have not been in your children's world, because they're not going to tell you. You see, children don't tell adults when they don't know your response to such issues. So children lie to their parents because they want to protect their parents from unnecessary anger. And so because if they can tell you what's happening in school now, then you carry everybody and implicate everybody, and they begin to label your child as a snitch in the school. So they keep it from parents. So you first need to get into your child's world and show capacity to be able to accommodate what the child is about to say to you. And not many parents can do that, and that's why we always say, if you still have a younger child, the best way is start with sexuality education, right? Engage your child in a discussion. If you have lower children who are still younger, less than 5, you can begin to ask, what kind of play do you play at school? Do you have anybody who plays with you? What kind of play can we play? Those kind of play, innocently they will show you, if they have been abused or something like that. But if they have not been abused, you will also know. So it's a whole lot of, there's no one way, but there are, if a child is being sexually abused, there are ways to know. So if you have a child who was extroverted, suddenly become introverted, you want to check, say what's going on here. Or you have a child who begin to have nightmare, or you have a child who has passed the age of bedwetting, is still bedwetting again, you want to find out what is going on. Or you have a child who is rude to a particular adult in the family, right? Don't say, how can you be rude?
Quick to say, yeah.
Right? You want to find out what's going on. Or you say to your child, come and go to your uncle's place, and he say, I don't want to go. You want to find out, you know, there are so many clues a child will show you, but it's your responsibility as an intelligent adult to find out and say what's going on here.
Oh, so the next question is this: for those people that have been abused, their parents are aware already. Okay, let's forget about parents right now. If you go to a particular school and you discover that these children are already abused, some of them will tell you that they cannot afford to tell their parents.
Absolutely.
So for you, how would you advise that, or would you want them to involve their parents? How do you think these issues can be balanced?
How do you help them?
It depends on the extent of the abuse. If the abuse is ongoing, then we might need to find a way to tell their parents, you know. What I do in every school I go is I ask them to write their secret that they wish nobody gets to know, and they don't put their names, right? So once I see what they are writing to me, we have a PTA meeting almost immediately with the parents. So it's generic now, you don't know what child is. Then what we do, because we just launched a new solution called Ready for Life curriculum.
Okay.
Ready for Life curriculum runs from primary through secondary, you know, every week, you know, 13 weeks in the term, all through the session, you know, what to teach. So now then we now have about 30, for every school we work with, we have about 30 trained therapists who can actually respond to such issues, and they know what to do. Some of them help a child without parents getting to know. The child attains wholeness and recover without, sometimes they have to bring the parents and get the parents involved, you know, in some of these cases, because we've had cases where family members always come for holiday because they know the girl is going to come back from the hostel and they're going to be sleeping with the girl and all those kind of things, you know. So all kinds of issues, the issue determine and the capacity of the parents to be able to handle what is being said. So, but what we have done is to put systems in some of those schools. I mean, we just finished implementing for Ambassadors College, you know, like you were there. So the entire secondary, they've started, they're in week 2 already, you know, an entire curriculum that runs from primary through GSS 1 to SS3.
So the therapists, are they their teachers?
Their teachers have been trained now to handle and to be able to spot, and for the children to be able to confide in them.
But do you think those children will want to talk to?
Well, we identify some of the teachers that they will talk to, because again, children won't talk to you if they know that you are judgmental.
Exactly.
Right. So we've identified a few of them that they can talk to, and now there's an assignment, one of the classes, where they're going to create Me Too boxes where you can drop anonymous situations into, and nobody knows. Yeah.
Wow. So for the parents right now, I guess they are the ones that are should I call it receiving end, because some of the parents, when they discover what is happening, they might actually go insane.
Some can die actually. Yeah, that's the truth.
So the question right now is, what can parents do when they find out what their children are actually doing? Because some people, it's going to just look like a shock. Imagine someone just discovering, a church woman, a church father, and all of that. Suddenly you just discover that this is what your children have been doing indoors.
You first need to pause. That's the first thing you need to do. Don't take any position. Don't get into anger. Pause. Right? Because agitation never solves the problem, it escalates it. Right? So once you pause, you can now begin to say, okay, don't focus on what is happening, why and how. Right? Because when you discover there are siblings who are sleeping with themselves right now, there are family members sleeping with themselves, so why is this happening and how do they go about it? Right? So once you find why gives you the purpose behind it, or why it's happening, how gives you the pattern, right? Then the next thing you need to do is to get a professional involved almost immediately. You know, you need to. It's not something you can handle by yourself, and there's no shame about it, you know, because we are always what will people say? There's not about what you see. If you have cancer and you say what will people say, what will people say, it will keep growing.
Definitely.
But if it's early detection, you know, can save your life, right? So you don't hide from the doctor that will heal you at the end of the day, you know. So get a professional almost immediately and let your children go through therapy. But usually when parents come here and they say this is what my children are doing, I first face the parents. I make them go through a parenting course. because that thing happens shows that your parents' knowledge is inadequate, and you need to heal, and you need to, because if we don't do that, it will still repeat itself. So we take them through parenting while we work with the children, and sometimes therapy takes like 12 weeks, and it's very expensive. So I always say to parents that prevention is better than cure, which is why it's cheaper to take basic sexual education and empower your child than to be trying to recover the child. In fact, Frederick Douglass said that it's better to build strong children than to be trying to repair broken adults.
So there are some individuals that are watching us right now. You've been abused. Probably it's even your parents. Maybe your dad is the one involved, or your mom is the one involved, or someone close to the family, or someone that is not even close to the family. You've been abused, but you've been trying to find a way out. What can you do? Should you tell your mom? Should you tell your dad? Will your mom believe you? Will your dad believe you? All of those questions. So the question now is to you, sir. For those people that have been affected, some people are really dying inside. Like some people are on the verge of, committing suicide. Some are not even concentrating in school any longer. What can they do at this critical point?
Well, if you are already depressed and you're bitter and you want to commit suicide, it's not worth your life, okay? So you don't have to kill yourself. Help is available. I think the first thing you need to do is to escalate almost immediately and find someone you can talk to. Unfortunately for many of you, you're on social media, so you can slide into our DMs and share your story, and then we can take it up from there. Or break it to your parents. Find the one that is stronger among them and let them know. Then they can take it up from there. But you deserve to heal. Because killing yourself also is getting the predator to win eventually, which is the whole idea. The whole idea of abuse is to steal your future from you, and you don't want to give them that benefit when you can actually channel your pain and bring healing to other people. So I do not think you should end your life. I think you should reach out almost right away to someone that can help. And let me tell you, help is always available.
So if you've been affected, please try and slide into our DMs. You can also contact, we're going to give you the information on this page. So on this screen, just watch out and then just contact. Also, it's going to be at the caption box. So just read through the caption and then get the information that you need, which will really, really help you. All right. Any other question?
Not that I think of. Unless he wants to add something.
Well, what I can add is if you have not been abused, then you're very lucky. Statistics says 1 in 4 girls will be abused by the age 18. I think it's about 2 out of 4 right now. Wow. 1 in 6 boys. But what you need to know is that we all deserve to live. Once a child is abused, what has been happening to the child is that the future of that child is stolen, literally, because abuse reconfigures your body and it makes you see yourself as a being, no longer as a being that must be respected, as a thing that must be used. And when you stretch it, so most of the prostitutes you see, I work with over 300 commercial sex workers, all of them were sexually abused. Because that was when I knew that the psychology behind prostitution is not just poverty. It's the fact that their identity has been stolen, because for you to spread your life for 11 men every day, it's more than money. And so we all need to heal, right? Especially given the fact that our justice system is very, very messed up right now. People may not get help, but you need to heal. And please reach out in case you have been abused, or in case someone is attempting to abuse you, or the person is threatening you. Please reach out. Help is available. And I always say to people, no child is free until every child becomes free. So don't take responsibility for your child alone. Look for 10 other children around your community. Take responsibilities for them. Resources are available. You can teach sexuality education, and you can even volunteer to begin to host other children and begin to teach them, right? Each one has to teach one. Each one has to reach one. Together, we can create a sane world.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. We really, really appreciate this. Final question I want to ask: what will be your advice for schools? All right, a lot of schools do not actually teach this subject matter at all. They are only stuck with their mathematics, physics, biology, and so many things are happening. I mean, we've gone to a lot of schools, and you'll be shocked at the kind of things you'll be hearing from the students. And the teachers do not even have an idea or slight idea.
What they do is they suspend these children. Right. Exactly. A child is already troubled. You're suspending the child. You expel the child to where? Especially if you're a Christian school. you know, what I think we need to begin to do, you can reach out. I mean, now we're implementing Ready for Life curriculum for schools. It's a curriculum that will govern child's behavior and literally transform future. We know exactly who those children are going to become if they go through that complete curriculum. Schools are now implementing it, so you can reach out to us. We can help you, and we can actually train your teachers as well on how to deploy, on how to also counsel, especially your school counselors, because the curriculum for many of the counseling courses in Nigeria is outdated, and these children are Gen Zs. They require a totally different engagement entirely. So you can reach out to us, and then we can help your school implement some of this curriculum. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching this video this far. If you enjoyed it, just give it a thumbs up and share with others. Together we can make a sane world
and raise a healthy generation.
So thank you, Mr. Praise, for
my pleasure. Pleasure.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for what you guys do.
Thank you. So bye for now. See you in the next video.
Thank you.